Good morning, stampers and crafters. Welcome to Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. I'm Tina. So, let's jump in. I did a video on stamping on foils and using the different types of archival inks to do it. For today's, I mentioned in there, I was going to show you how to do soot stamping. S-O-O-T stamping. The real way to do it is a little bit difficult. It can be messy and it can be a little bit dangerous in your craft room. And it's where you use a candle to actually burn soot onto photo paper or foils and that sort of thing. Today I'm going to show you a pseudo way or faux way to do this technique. It's simple, it's quick, and you still get the same effect. You're just not doing the dangerous thing where you're burning paper with a candle in your craft space. The other good reason for doing a pseudo way or faux way is that you can do this in your classes and things. You don't have to worry about 10 people in your class with a candle and paper going to light stuff on fire. So I'm going to show you a faux way. Now, you can do it. I've done it on golds and silver foils. Here's one I did on just some silver foil. Little pine cone action there. Love it. You can also do scenes. Okay, this one I did a little foreground stamping, and I did the pseudo effect. It's really simple to do. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. You can do it on golds. Golds came out really good. I've got some trees here with some pines in the background, some foreground leaves, and some different grass type looks there. So you can do it on any color of foils, and it comes out really pretty. So here we go. We're going to make this one today. Okay. This one comes from, in the new mini catalog, is a new set called Peaceful Deer coming out. And what's really cool is it comes with a coordinating punch. How cool is that? Isn't that adorable? Let's jump in. We're also going to be using the background paper I have here is one of the new papers that'll also be coming out. And it's called Peaceful Place, and I love that it has the grays and the whites and the silvers. You know, you don't need to always be a traditional red and green Christmas. I mean, this is how this turned out. So let's jump in. So first thing you'll need is a piece of foil sheet. This is just our silver foil stock. And remember, I told you to stamp on the foils, you need this kind of pigmented ink, because pigmented ink will dry on a non-porous surface, okay? Our regular inks won't. Now, you do have to let it set a little while. You can hit it a little bit with your heat tool, but I would say before you mail them or give them away, let them dry a day or two, and then you'll see they'll dry and won't come off. I did this one yesterday afternoon, and you see the ink's not coming off. Somebody asked me in my last video about spraying a sealer on them. My apologies that I really can't say yes or no to that because I've never used any sealers. The only sealers I've ever used was when I was doing pastels, and I used just a real fine mist of hairspray as a sealer. Maybe that would work on here, but I'm not sure if it would affect it as a color. I mean, I would think if you're going to spray a sealer on it, I would definitely wait until it's all the way dry. That's just my opinion. If somebody knows something about using sealers and foils, please feel free to comment below. So we have our piece of foil, and we're going to take our archival black ink, and just a cotton ball. I found if you use a cotton ball, you're going to definitely get more of that kind of random uh, spotting and inking. So you want to just dab it really well and fill up your paper. Now if you do streaks, it's going to be a little different. So I just kind of dab it, fill it in, spread it out. And as many of my techniques, it's another messy one. I love that. I don't mind getting ink on me. It's all fun. It's kind of funny when I'm at events or something with family and they're like, what is all over your hands? Oh, it's ink. That's what I do. I play with ink. It washes off. No big deal. My pad might be getting a little dry. I'll have to refill it. I've been doing this technique for a couple days now. So you just want to make sure you have a good coating, and it can be, lighter, darker, blotchy, because that is what you would get if you were using a candle. I might be able to, I have a cheap, and if you're going to use a candle for the technique, if you decide to do the real sooting technique, use the cheapest candle you have. I actually buy party light candles from a girlfriend of mine, and I always have for years because they don't leave a soot. And I tried to do the sooting technique with a party light candle, and it wouldn't work because the candle's too good quality. So use a cheap quality candle if you're going to do it. And I'll show you briefly. Remind me at the end, and I'll try to show you briefly how that is done if you decide you want to try it. I'll have to grab a photo sheet if I can, maybe. So I'm just getting my sheet all nice and blotchy. I think I put my finger there and left it up. Okay, so we got our nice blotchy sheet here. Now you're going to take a stamp. This is also called negative stamping. You can do negative stamping, I'm sure, with a lot of people do it with alcohol inks and ink lifters and stuff like that. Oh, well, there's an idea for another tutorial for you. So I'm going to take this little stamp. Now you can do this in your Stamparatus, and I'm a big use it all the time, but it seems to work fine with the blocks. So all I'm going to do, and make sure it's clean, so I'm going to wipe it off. You don't want any ink on it, and you kind of want it dry so that it'll lift off. I've got a piece of cotton ball fuzz here. Let me see if I can lift it off. There we go. Cotton balls, a little bit cheap, so they kind of shed. So now you're just going to take your clean, dry stamp, which mine has something on it, because it's going to show up everything. Let me make sure it's clean, because this particular one has a little saying on it, so I want it to show up. Now you're going to take your stamp, and this is going to be a slippery surface. So try to stamp straight down. Hold it into place for a second to pick up that ink, and then pick it up. Look at that. How fun is that? And you just keep going. So let's grab his horns here. Grab a smaller block. We're just going to put his horns on there. And now I want to do a few little background trees. They're also in the set here. You can tell by my stamps I've been doing this a bit. So I'm just going to go to the horizon here. And wipe it off in between. Make sure it's dry. I'm going to stamp it again. Now you can kind of do layering like I did here. You can see the trees in the background. So I stamped my main trees and then I did trees in the background. And then stamped a larger stamp toward the front. So you can keep layering this. Because it's in archival ink, it will dry, but it will also stay wet for, a while. So you can do all this kind of different stamping on the same image. Okay. And in this same set, you've got some ground. So I'm just going to grab some ground here. Let's have him running on the ground there. Look at that. Let's add one more little piece of ground here. And we are good to go. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And look how quick and simple it is. You could keep going. There in this little set, you've got pebbles and greetings and things like that. But remember, when you're doing this, I would use more solid images because that's what's going to show up. You can do outlines, but that's all you're going to get is just an outline on your sheet, and it may come out pretty cool. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use the Fun Peaceful Place background here that's got some silver stars. And I'm going to mat that on some black. I forgot my little glue hand. Alright, so let's glue our mat down. You could even, instead of the black mat that I'm doing here, if you wanted, you could do a silver mat. That would look pretty. Okay, now I need to be careful with this because I don't have my heat gun over here. So I'm just going to try to work with it from the sides without touching it. Okay? And we'll glue that one down. Isn't that pretty? How fun is that? Okay, I'm just going to use, try not to touch it on the edges. And I'm just going to use some dimensionals to pop that up. Kind of hard when you're not supposed to touch anything. Of course, that's the first thing you want to do. You can always set it aside and, put it together the next day after it's dried. I mean, maybe your fingerprint in it might be a nice little extra. So I decided not to do a greeting on the front of this one because in the deer it says "Oh, what fun," so it kind of has its own greeting. And then I'm just going to put it on a smoky slate base. And there you go. How quick and simple is that fun technique? Experiment. Use different colors of foil. If you want a real vibrant something in the foreground, use your silver brilliance ink. Go ahead and stamp your image in the silver, which will make it bolder. You can do your background like this and then stamp additional images in the silver or the gold like I did here. See the foreground leaves, how bright they are? Those I stamped in the gold over the top of the rest. Kind of did the same here on the grass. So just play with it and experiment. It's a really fun technique. A good thing for this technique is if you have images that you want to do masculine cards. Maybe do a silver and use the lighthouse set and do a lighthouse scene, or just these simple holiday ones here with a little pine cone on it. Like I promised, I wanted to show you really quick how real soot stamping is done. You'll take a piece of glossy stock or photo paper, and you can use a cheap tea light candle. Like I said earlier, I found that the quality candles don't really create soot, so they don't work. You can also use a lighter. So what you would do on the glossy side of your cardstock is you are going to run it through the flame. And now you got to do this fairly fast. You can see where I told you that can get dangerous. You can light this on fire very easily. But that's how you create the soot. So you use a flame to go over your glossy stock or photo paper, and then you would stamp on it the way you do here. Now, if you do it the original way with a lighter or a candle on your stock, as you see, it comes off. You would have to figure out what kind of sealer you could put on this. Like I said, I don't know if hairspray or not would work, or some sort of sealer, but that's how you do regular soot stamping, is you create the soot with a flame and then you stamp into it the way we did. So as you can see, the faux way or the pseudo way is much easier and a lot less dangerous to start things on fire in your craft room. And it also, when you use the flame, as you can see, it warps it pretty good. So that is how you would do that. Thank you for joining me, and have a happy stamping day. Bye bye now.